Hey, what's up guys, Riff here. So today we're going to be talking about the early fate of Marathon, the extraction shooter that was going to revamp the entire medium, the game that was going to own the chuds. And despite all of the copium that has existed about this game for the last 2 years from shills and games journalists, well, it turns out this is in fact a complete disaster. In fact, with the release of the free demo of this game over the past 2 days, it has not only flopped, it served as an opportunity for those who have pre-purchased this game to get a refund because it's just that boring. Now, there always are going to be games journalists trying to hype up messes like this game. You can see this article saying, sorry haters, but Marathon is looking real good right now. But you'll be shocked that this is pretty much the only positive coverage I've seen, even from games journalists. That tells you how bad this free demo is currently performing. Now you can see right here the absolute drop-off, the cataclysmic drop-off between day 1 and day 2 of this free demo. Day 1 peaking out at about 143,000 in-game players, and today on day 2, sitting around 60,000. They have lost the majority of their audience overnight. And again, this is a free-to-play demo, so people are just simply tuning out. They checked this game out for a little bit and said, wow, I've seen enough, and I'm out of here. Now, this really follows a pattern of Concordian levels of failure. This was predicted by many. You can see this meme, once again getting a new edition. Concord, eviscerated. High Guard, eviscerated. And we're going to talk about High Guard later in this video because the fate of that franchise has actually gotten even more pathetic. But now we see death knocking at the door of Marathon because things are not looking good right now. And of course, the writing's been on the wall for pretty much the entirety of this game and any sort of exposure it's had. In fact, back about a year ago when the gameplay reveal trailer was released, it was getting dislike bombed. People were not impressed. It had more dislikes than likes on this YouTube upload on the official Marathon channel. This is not reinventing the wheel. This was basically just a Fortnite ripoff that looks like it was lost in a time capsule from 2020 or something like that. And you can see right now with the in-game demo count, it's sitting around 60,000 on this second day, and things are simply not getting better. If you look at the overall chart, it just flatlined. That's it. And it's going down. And it's free. Again, this is a free demo. So anything moving downward that fast is very alarming, okay? And in fact, earlier today, if you were looking on the SteamDB site and looking for the top in-game player counts and seeing what games show up, you wouldn't even have seen Marathon. Marathon wasn't even in the top 10. It was getting mogged by games like Stardew Valley and Bongo Cat, okay? That's how really abhorrent this situation is. But the copium surrounding this is immense. We're going to be looking at unbelievable levels of cope and excuses for the performance of this free demo. You can see tweets like this saying, people saying the Marathon player numbers are dying are brain dead. The server slam started on a Thursday. Just wait for the weekend. Hashtag Marathon Takeover. Here's another response saying, OMG, if you have nothing of value to say, just don't speak. Marathon's server slam launched on a random Thursday. Most people are busy. Stop crying. Well, what about games like Resident Evil Requiem? That released right at the same time as Marathon. Did people just quit their jobs? Was there some sort of a pattern here or some sort of a real phenomenon going on here where basically all of the unemployed people had just enough money to go purchase this game? Because it's peaked out at over 300,000 in-game players. So that excuse about it releasing on a random Thursday is a load of BS. In fact, if you look even further, when you look at the PSN, right, the pre-sale copies there, well, that doesn't really work either because people are saying, well, don't look at SteamDB, you look at the PlayStation numbers. Well, It's sitting at 40th overall right now in terms of pre-sale copies. It's behind Avowed, ladies and gentlemen. That is really bad, okay? And of course, due to the nature of this being an extraction shooter, people are comparing it to Arc Raiders, which despite being released quite some time ago, is completely destroying Marathon in every single sense in terms of active players. And of course, this is also having a weird effect on the game itself in terms of Marathon. As pointed out here, Marathon devs have patched out the term Arc Raiders being censored in-game after clips of players revealing it. Yes, if you typed Arc Raiders in chat, your message would be censored.
Press, okay, open your text chat with enter and type Arc Raiders. What?
No. No way.
Wait, what? Why? There's no way. There's no way. Why would that be? Is that the rage bait? Is that rage bait?
Arc Raider. Bro,
So as I pointed out earlier, this would be patched out, but people are asking the question, Bungie, why was this something in the first place? Why were you censoring one of your competitors' names in your chat in the first place? Why was that something you had to patch out? That looks really suspicious. And this overall situation, especially with the player numbers, is so bad, and the drop-off is so extreme from day 1 to day 2, even games journalists like Paul Tassi are looking at this and they're like, yeah, this is really bad, saying, you're going to yell at me, but this is a very bad trend line heading into tonight's. In fact, a lot of people are simply uninstalling this game. Okay, they're trying it out. This free demo is not promotion, it is demotion. People are playing it and uninstalling and getting refunds. That is literally what people are doing. This is the entire main purpose of this entire server slam free demo. It's a chance to understand truly how bad this game is, according to many, many people. And Paul Tassi also points out something that a lot of people agree with. He says this: I get that we got used to everything in Blender renders and cinematics, but I just don't like these models in-game at all. Yeah, are you guys super impressed with this high-quality budget of a game here? And this is the results? And people are quick to point out, the only thing that sort of appealed to me in the game, and they took away all of her aura from the trailer. So this was from the trailer. Okay, like it, don't like it, whatever. I think it's certainly a lot more visually appealing than this. I mean, what is this Chungus we're looking at? What happened? She got completely and utterly torn apart. It looks infinitely worse than this. And then we go further with the sort of eyesore of a game that Marathon is. Even PC Gamer says this: an absolute eyesore. Marathon's biggest issue seems to be its poor UI design that's confusing players. I have no idea where I'm at. What am I looking at? And here are just some of the examples of people like Ninja, for example, trying to understand what's even happening on their screen.
With 1.2? All right, well.
boys, I gotta be honest with you, man. This is hands down one of the most complex, like, menus I've ever seen in my entire life, bro. I have no idea where I'm at, what I'm looking at. Like, I mean, I'm getting it, I'm starting to get it, but like,
Yeah.
there's like a million menus. Armory, vault, loadout, shell select. Shell select is like who your guy is. Loadout.
And Ninja wasn't the only person complaining about this. This seems like a very big complaint, one of many about this game. You can see this post that got a lot of support saying Marathon gotta be the first ever font slop game. There's like 20 different combinations of fonts, boldness levels, sizes, spacing, all caps versus regular caps, all on one menu page. Just an absolute eyesore. They really need to pull back on the whole abstract thing for the UI. And this is something that can be fixed. but not by traditional means, as pointed out by Summit here. Basically, if you want to have a more seamless way of navigating on your screen, especially with your UI and changing settings and navigating throughout the menus, you might need to hook up a controller. Yes, that's right. You might have to hook up a controller instead of using your mouse cursor because it's not working. And as pointed out by him in this clip, I'm just describing what he says, but basically, like, can we stop having games that look like you didn't finish them on release? It's absolutely inexcusable for Bungie to put out stuff like this. But of course, more people were here to criticize. This one says, this game is awful, bro. Never seen a worse UI. The guns feel like crap. Looting takes 10 years because it's not obvious what anything is, and enemy players look like AI. And I've heard that a lot, that people literally cannot differentiate between enemy players and AI. It's like actually like hard to tell the difference. It's very confusing. But look at the very solid criticism provided by these defenders of Marathon. They tell the same user, hopefully you end up homeless and starving. And this person says, or lying on the freeway. So hoping this person's life is ruined and / or ended because they dared to criticize Bungie. Totally normal response. Now, there are some people defending this game, including the Burnt Peanut. We've talked about him a couple times on this channel. He's obviously a really huge streamer right now. He's been running defense for Marathon quite hard and basically saying, shut up if you don't like this game and give it a chance. And here's what he had to say.
This game is garb, hot trash. Oh my goodness. Oh, look at me. I'm hating on the new game right when it released. I'm the coolest. Look, I'm hating on the new game as soon as it releases. I'm part of the cool crowd. Dude, shut up! That happens with every game! Literally, the game you're telling me to go play Arc Raiders, you literally did it to as well! On day one! Shut up! You literally did the same thing to Ark, and that's what you're telling me to go play!
Guys, I'm going to hit you with a splash of cold water right now. I'm going to wake you up. This is a paid promotion. Okay, like, I'm like 99% sure, okay? Unless he comes out and flat out says it, I won't say 100%, but it's very obvious what's going on here, okay? I think everyone understands why he is trying to hype this game up so much on his streams. I get it. I understand. He's going for a bag. That's the way it is. But you know what? Chill out a little bit, man. Like, you had us laughing with the Hassan beef recently. I appreciate him getting under the skin of Hassan, but, you know, let's not be lying to ourselves here when we say his opinion about Marathon is not artificial or in any way influenced by the possibility of a paid promotion. In fact, even idiots like myself are getting sponsorship opportunities from Bungie, which is really a testament to their screening process, because for almost 2 years, I've been crapping all over this game in Bungie. I literally have no idea how I would end up with any sort of a paid sponsorship to promote their game. It seems totally tone deaf. But speaking of tone deaf, okay, people are trying their best to defend Marathon and Bungie. Here's one of the many tweets saying this. This era of gaming, where people want to hate and cancel new games, is the most cringe stuff I've ever seen. What happened to the days of just playing games you enjoy and not playing games you don't like? Growing up went to Blockbuster, try games out, return if you didn't like, no mass hate sprees. Not every FPS needs to be a COD killer. Not every new hero shooter needs to be a rival/Overwatch killer. More variety of games, the better. Not every game you play has to be the biggest or the most popular. I think the criticism people are providing is that this game seems somewhat unfinished, it's unpolished, it's confusing, it's ugly, and it's not fun to play. In fact, it's getting the nickname Marathon, ironically enough, because you have to run a marathon to find other players in the game to actually engage with, because that's what's going on. And people have higher expectations. That's how it works. Okay, we're in 2026, and it seems like gaming is devolving in quality. That is concerning. People have high standards. Good. especially when there's such a high price for games nowadays. I'm glad people are critical. We should not just accept slop. You know, buy the slop, consume the slop, and shut up. No, that's not what you're supposed to be doing. Here's another one saying, Marathon is another perfect example of people asking for something new, and when it comes, they hate it. This person, I guess, is referring to themselves when they said it about Highguard. And I remember covering this exact tweet when Highguard came out, and I think they're making a joke. It's self-deprecation, having a sense of humor about it, but this is unironically what some people say about games like Highguard and Marathon, and obviously they did not reinvent the wheel. There's nothing new here. It is a clone of everything from the extraction shooter genre, and it's just not bringing anything exciting and new to the table, and that's as simple as that. Now you see this tweet right here saying this Marathon situation feels eerily similar to what happened with Highguard. Suddenly, a bunch of accounts pop up aggressively defending it, hurling the same tired insults at critics, cope, hater, etc., without ever explaining why they think the game is good. The defenders are pulling the exact same excuses they use for Highguard. Man, if you didn't sink at least 40 hours into it, you didn't even really play the game. Real gamers can spot a dud straight from the trailer and are rarely wrong, let alone the 2+ hours I put into it. Now, of course, that Highguard comparison is something I've been hinting at, and Marathon has come out on their official account saying Marathon's team is absolutely watching and listening and taking in all the feedback. We do care. That sounds familiar, ladies and gentlemen. That's basically what Highguard said. How's Highguard doing? Well, at the current time, as of today, there is less than 20 staff remaining at Highguard Studio Wildlight Entertainment. They pretty much eviscerated the entire studio. This was the game that, by the way, was going to own the chuds just like everything else. It was going to prove all the haters wrong. Well, look at it today. This game released basically a month ago to the day. It has 400 in-game players. This is a free-to-play game. This is an absolute bloodbath. You know, there's Concord. Nothing's ever going to top Concord. But this has got to be like a close second. Due to the scale of this game, the investment into this game, the fact it's free-to-play. I mean, look at the drop-off. Peaking out at the beginning, nearly 100K, and just flatlining to almost nothing. To literally almost nothing. It's insane. Now, while we're on the topic of games that are going to have Concordian levels of failure, we got stuff to look forward to, ladies and gentlemen, especially with PlayStation here. Fair games. Don't forget about fair games. I am counting down the days until this is released. This is going to be an absolute flop fiesta. This one might take the cake. This is going to be an absolute banger. A banger of a time covering this. In case you're not familiar, this is a game, I'll play the trailer in the background a little bit. This is a game where basically you eat the rich. Yeah, PlayStation said, how do you do, fellow poor people? Here's a game about eating the rich, but don't eat us, the rich, who are making this game and publishing it. Yeah, it's extremely ridiculous. This game looks like it should have been released in 2020, and that would have been the only shot it had at success, and it's going to be an absolute omega flop. And before I close out this video, just want to let you guys know, I did my revamp on Patreon. It's been about a month since the revamp. Really a whole new purpose to it. Lots of new bonus content. My third Patreon exclusive video is now live as of today. I'll put a link to that, and you can check out the rest of my page with that link in the pinned comment and description. Lots of exclusive content, React, stuff like that. I plan on weekly uploads over there and other exclusive content. So make sure if you want to check that out and greatly support the channel, check out those links and enjoy the exclusive content that you'll only find there. That's something that I'm having a really fun time with and people are enjoying. But anyways, ladies and gentlemen, that's going to do it for today's video. I hope you enjoyed. As always, feel free to share your thoughts about today's topics in the comment section down below. Hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I'll see you next time.